Shalom. All praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Wadash. Double honors to my elder apostles and bishop elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy, to the elect of the nation of Israel, whom are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the sea land of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and were scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. To you I say Shalom, and Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Ratazah. This lesson is edifying and informative. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. In the news, from the CNBC, Neuralink competitor Paradromics gets one step closer to FDA approval for its brain implant. A growing team of nearly 50 employees at the neurotech startup Paradromics is working on a brain implant that sounds like the work of science fiction, and it has caught the attention of federal regulators. Paradromics, founded in 2015, is developing a device that could help patients with severe paralysis regaining their ability to communicate by deciphering their neural signals. And this is one of the leveraging excuses that they will use to wheedle the minds of people around the globe that suffer from paralysis and certain physical disabilities into willingly taking that brain implant / chip in their right hands or in their foreheads. Okay. And on Thursday, the Austin, Texas-based company announced that it has received the breakthrough device designation from the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, for its flagship system called the Connex Direct Data Interface. CEO Matt Engel said the designation, in addition to a $33 million funding around the company, also announced Thursday, will help Paradromics bring its device to market. Paradromics is part of the Emerging Brain Computer Interface, or BCI, industry. BCI is a system that deciphers brain signals and translates them into commands for external technologies. Experts believe the system could someday help treat maladies like blindness and mental illness. Perhaps the best known name in the space is Neuralink, thanks to the high profile of its co-founder Elon Musk, who is also the CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter. Scientists have been studying BCI technology for decades, and several companies have developed promising systems that they hope to bring to market. But receiving FDA approval for a commercial medical device is no small task. It requires companies to successfully conduct several extremely thorough rounds of testing and data safety collection. As of May, no BCI company has managed to clinch the FDA's final seal of approval. Paradromics' BCI, the Canucks Direct Data Interface, or I'll call it the CDDI, is an assistive communication device that translates neural signals into text or synthesized speech. An array of tiny electrodes is implanted directly into the brain tissue, where it measures and deciphers brain signals that are ultimately emitted to external devices through a transceiver that sits under the skin in the chest. It's essentially taking some of the things that have been successful in previous clinical trials and then improving on them from an engineering standpoint to make them better, Angel told CNBC in an interview. Angel said the company's BCI is designed to last around 10 years and will initially be used to help patients who have lost their ability to physically communicate. The device will require invasive brain surgery, but Angel said the quality of the neural signals it can measure will allow patients to communicate at a faster and more neural rate than they could with a less invasive BCI, like the one being developed by Paradromics' competitor Synchron. So far, regulators seem to be on board with Paradromics' approach. The FDA's breakthrough device designation is granted to medical devices that have the potential to provide improved treatment for debilitating or life-threatening conditions. The agency has granted 32 of these designations in the fiscal 2023 year so far, according to its website. Angel said the designation will help create a fast track for communication between FDA and Paradromics. It's an advance that could be key for getting regulators to more quickly approve future clinical trials. The company is currently conducting animal safety trials, and the data from those trials will help the FDA determine whether to approve an in-human study. Angel said Paradromics is hoping to launch its first clinical trial with human patients in the first half of 2024. So the Lord is speeding this thing up. Okay, the Lord is speeding this thing up. It says the startup's new $33 million funding round was led by Prime Movers Lab. It's a beautiful story. Prime Movers Lab founder and general partner Lakina Sloss told CNBC in an interview. And it's a real technology that's working now, today. It's not like a pipe dream that you gotta wait 10 years for. Angel said it is an exciting time in the BCI field, especially as multiple companies are working to distinguish themselves in an industry that he estimates will create billions of dollars in value. But while it is easy to get excited about the future capabilities of BCIs, Angel believes a lot of good can already be done. A lot of people are excited about the futuristic kind of speculative applications. But the reality of brain-computer interface is, in some ways, more exciting, he said. It can transform what would otherwise be really challenging problems into brain health. So brain health will be their leveraging approach among many others. This concludes the article. You're another step closer to the global introduction and subsequent mandation of the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, also known as the brain chip implant. Okay, and this article shows an example of that. Okay, it is also known as the NFC chip implant in Europe, also known as the biochip implant. The word bio means alive or living. Okay, So the Lord is speeding this thing up. So now let's go back to Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And I'll just read through it because, we all should know by now what this particular tree verse is referring to. Obviously, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, also known as the brain chip implant. Okay? So I'll just read through it, and I'll move on to the next article, Abaratazah. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And the he is referring to the elites of Esau, Edom, such as their banking families, their Rothschilds, their Gettys, their DuPonts, their Lees, their McDonald's. The list goes on. Because of all people in the earth, except for the elect of the nation of Israel, whom the Lord promised that he will reserve from the hour of temptation, when they will mandate that ship globally, both small and great, from a newborn baby to an elderly senior in society, rich and poor, whether they be rich or poor, free and bond, whether they be free or in the jail systems, in bondage, to receive a mark. That mark is the RFID microchip. In the Greek, the word mark is charagma, which means a stamp or imprinted mark. The root word of charagma is charax, which means a palisade or stake, which will be the syringe mechanism that they will use to puncture the flesh of individuals to then insert that charagma. The root word of charax is graph, which means of the writings, filled with the records. Because within the RFID microchip, the mark of the beast is where people's information will be filled, will be recorded, will be kept in their right hand or in their foreheads, in front of their brain, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. The beast is the pagan Roman Empire, which came back in the form of NATO and the EU, with America being an extension of that empire, that is his beast. And no man might buy or sell, so no man will be able to partake in society and perform traffic save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 603 score and 6666, which we typically see behind the UPC, or rather under UPC, that is found behind good products or goods and services in your stores, supermarkets. But now things have been shifting over to what is known as a blockchain system. And not just any kind of blockchain system, which is simply a network that allows one to oversee all manners of transactions, a footprint, if you will, but a blockchain that will be centralized by the central authorities, the central figureheads of Esau, Edom. Just like a CBDC. Keyword is central. It will allow them to oversee all manner of transactions, all manners of buyings and sellings, traffic, trade, pardon me. So the message to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians and Israelite foreigners is to not take that chip when they mandate it, because if you do, this is the judgment. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, the image of the beast is a system of the beast, which is comprised of this man's architectural infrastructure, is M to the E to the D to the I to the C. You know the rest. I have to say it like that so they won't flag this video. Infrastructure, his financial infrastructure, his laws, his democracy, everything that comprises this man's system is the image for America, which is Babylon the Great, reflects the ancient system of ancient Rome. Okay? It images it. Therefore, the image of the beast is the system of the beast, okay? And receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. And the image is not a painting of Caesar Borgia, as some would believe. No, that is not so. Again, the image is a system. Okay? And receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, which means his righteous anger. In other words, those that receive that chip, they're going to receive the Lord's extreme judgment that will not be held back. Okay? Through the weapons of his indignation, which are those nuclear missiles. Because the Lord has righteous anger against this world and against the wicked of this world. And 2/3, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Who's the Lamb? Our Lord Yahweh Shai. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, meaning for a period of time. And they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever received the mark of his name. So that's a judgment. If you take that chip, you'll die. Most High is going to kill you through nuclear fire. It'll be reserved for judgment. So we can refer to other scriptures like Revelation 16, Revelation 20. Okay? And let's now move on to the next article. I just wanted this to be real brief. This is from the RT. U.S. retaliates against Russia over nuclear treaty. Published today. Washington has decided to stop sharing data on its arsenal, citing Moscow's suspension of the New START deal. The U.S. will stop sharing information required under Washington's latest remaining nuclear arms treaty with Russia in retaliation to Moscow's decision earlier this year to suspend participation in the agreement amid tensions of the Ukraine conflict. The United States has adopted lawful countermeasures in response to the Russian Federation's ongoing violation of the New START treaty. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said in a statement on Thursday, "We claimed that Russia's suspension of the treaty was legally invalid and that Moscow remained bound by its obligations under the agreement. Nevertheless, Washington will scale back in its own commitments under the 2010 pact, which capped the number of warheads." And this is another example of them saying peace and safety. Oh, we're gonna scale back. We're gonna stay committed. But behind closed doors, they're investing billions, trillions of dollars in developing nuclear technology, military technology, hardware. So who the hell they think they fooling? It says, which capped the number of warheads and the means of their delivery in order to induce Russian compliance, Blinken said. He added that Moscow had been notified about Washington's decision in advance, and that the U.S. was ready to reverse the countermeasures and fully implement the treaty if Russia returns to compliance. We are in the season of war, Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the 8th verse. What war? The third world's war, which cometh quickly, according to Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. That's the reason why, according to Joel, the 3rd chapter, the mighty men and the men of war have been prepared for war. Prepare war. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay? So we are in prophetic times, man. Every day, something prophetic is happening. Something in regards to prophecy. You know? We're getting very closer and closer to things speeding up and at the return of our Lord. So we live in exciting times, man. I'm static. Okay, I'm static, man. It says the unveiled measures included refusing to provide required notifications on the status and location of treaty-accountable missiles and launchers, as well as revoking the diplomatic privileges and visas of Russia's New START inspectors. Likewise, the U.S. will no longer provide telemetric data on its missile launchers, Blinken said. Russia suspended its participation in the treaty in February, accusing the U.S. of violating the agreement and citing Washington's anti-Russia policies. Russian ambassador to the U.S., Anatoly Antonov, accused the U.S. at the time of enabling Kyiv to carry out drone attacks on Russian bases that host the country's nuclear-capable bombers. The Russian embassy released a statement on Friday, reiterating that Moscow had suspended the treaty in full accordance with international law. We have taken into account the countermeasures announced by the U.S., the embassy said. It added that Washington must abandon its hostile policies and the intent to inflict a strategic defeat in Russia in order for the New START to function normally, and that won't happen. At the same time, according to the embassy, Moscow continues to abide by the central restrictions enshrined in the treaty, which allows it to maintain a sufficient level of predictability and stability in the nuclear sphere. And this concludes the article, and I will conclude the lesson here. Lord willing, it was edifying and informative. This has been another in the news. Shalom to the elect.